everybody? We are back with another live stream, and today we have to talk about this because we already know that come July 11, SuperFlop is on the way. As always, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe because we have a few things that we have to talk about. This is very interesting, but at the same time, it should be no surprise to any of us because we already know how this studio rolls and what they're trying to do. Because in the end, they know that it's not gonna work for them. And we're the real fans, we're the customers, and we're the consumers. So we already know what the business is all about. So look, check it out. I just got word from some friends that just told me that I'm not gonna say names, but when I say they, if you know, you know. They're trying to come after the Snyder fans and they're trying to silence us and shut us down. It's not gonna happen. We can't let it happen. And most of all, it's impossible. It's too much. We're too much. We're deep. We're an army, honestly, when it comes to this. And they're just trying to silence us any way, shape, or form. And this is something that I told y'all that it was going to happen as we continue to get closer towards release date. This is not concerning, but at the same time, it's very interesting. This shows you how desperate the studio is. And like Ben Affleck's Batman and Batman versus Superman, when they were going at it, and the fear gas and all that with the kryptonite, and he was like, breathe that in. That's fear. That's exactly what's going on with the studio right now. They fear that we, the Snyderverse community, are the majority. They know it. They know that Superman is going to tank day of release and we will stop at nothing. Like I said, you know, we can't stop. We won't stop. There's no stopping us. There's no silencing us. And most of all, like they know exactly that we're onto their lies. You have, of course, I'm not gonna say names and stuff like that, but you have everybody out there. You know exactly who I'm talking about. That they're just talking. They're talking in the sense that what they're trying to do is just interrupt us. They're trying to sidetrack us and distract people from what's about to come July 11. They're trying to pay all these people out there to talk and give bad reviews towards that new Jurassic World coming out. You can see it. You can clearly see it. There's a lot of people that are like seeing and catching on to it. We're on to the lies of this studio for a while. This wasn't overnight. Like we've been following and we've been up to date with all this and stuff like that. And we already see that the ticket sales are not moving for Superman. They're just not. And say what you want, but this movie is DOA. It's fully DOA. There's no repair. The repair is far beyond right now. And like I said, they can go back and try to edit and try to work on it. It's too late. It's too late. You cannot fix nothing in literally 2 weeks from release date. And of course, when you have the director confessing and saying, "Hey, we don't care if it flops and it tanks. We just want to put the movie out there." They already are telling you what's to come, you know? And honestly, like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be interesting. And, there's no stopping us. The damage is already done. The studio did this. And, here we are, And like I've been calling it for a while, a lot of us have seen it. The studio's just scared and they're very concerned because they're about to hit a financial, tank, if you want to say. They're about to go downhill, and there's nothing that they can do to save, the movie that's already about to release. And a lot of fans are bothered by this in the sense that, look, like for the Superman character, there's fans that are just like, hey, I like Superman in general. It doesn't matter what version. They are not happy with this. They are really, really pissed off. And I'm with them. I agree with them. And yeah, the company's completely sabotaging themselves. And that's the only way, that they know that we are living in part of history right now, my friends. We are in part of history. And as we continue to go down this road and literally enter the official release for this movie, this is if I was a studio, I would pull the plug and I would be like, you know what? Yeah, this is done. This is bad, you know. But of course, there's contracts and legal stuff that they can't do because of that. Then it'll cost them probably double or triple the amount that they've already spent. But in the end, the studio's about to find out, and they're about to learn the hard way, for being stubborn, for not giving the consumers, the fans and customers, because that's who we are. We are fans, we are the consumer, and most of all, we're the customer. And if you don't give us what we want, how we want it, then we're just not going to support it, and like I've been calling and saying it for over 2 years, it all the epic conclusion ends July 11th. That's where it all ends, my friends. And for the ones that have been following me and have been sticking around, or if you're new, I want to say thank you, because everything is leading up, like Endgame. The big epic grand finale ends on July 11th. That weekend is going to determine everything of where the studio stands at right now. And seriously, there's just no saving it, and you have all of these fans coming out, the minority coming out and trying to bark and trying to, like, just cause a distraction. That's all. And it's just not going to work for them. They know it. They know it. Like, everything, all their resources are done. They're through with this. This is why they're trying to go after pages on Facebook, and they're silencing and literally removing anything that has to do with Snyderverse, or Zack Snyder attached to it. And this is what it tells you how shady this company is. This studio doesn't care. Their ego continues to haunt them. And because of that, that's why they're losing a lot of customers. They've lost majority of their fans. They've lost majority of their consumers because of the things that they're doing. How do you go after fans and try to silence them? You just don't do that. And it's just telling you exactly where they stand at. They are completely in desperate mode, you know. And this company, straight up, it's a desperate company. It's a disaster company, but they brought this upon themselves. And it's completely, like, yeah, I agree with you. I used to watch WWE. I watch it from time to time, but yeah, once they turn on the fans, yeah, that's where the problem comes in, honestly. And we're starting to see that with a lot of these companies in this industry. It's happening for a while with the video game industry. It's been happening to the movie industry for the longest. And of course, the one that really kind of scares me is, the anime and the manga side, because once that goes fully commercial, you better believe they're gonna bend the knee in due time. Because in the end, unfortunately, sometimes, most of these companies have the paycheck, and people will bend the knee just for that. But we can see through them. We are the fans, we're the consumer, the customer, and we see through their lies. And just like Riddler said in the Batman, no more lies. That's exactly where we stand at. No more lies. So, like I said earlier in the stream, and I'll say it again now, we have to stay more united than ever. If you thought that we were united for release the Snyder Cut, that was amazing for its time. Our goal was reached because now we have the Snyder Cut. Now we have to do that two times more, because now we know that the studio is trying to silence us and they're trying to come after us and stuff like that. And in the sense that they're just trying to, like, erase everything, every type of trace. But we're not gonna let that happen, because again, we are the consumer, customer, and fan at the end. So we have the power in our pockets, or if you use physical wallet, or if you use your phone or whatever digital way you pay, you're gonna keep that closed and locked. And that's how we're going to do it. They literally pushed us to this edge, and all we're doing is we're just dumping it back. And coming July 11, yeah, they're gonna see it. They're gonna feel it. Are you gonna see Jurassic World Rebirth? Hell yeah, hell yeah! I already got my tickets. I'm ready to go see it. I'm gonna see that probably like 3 or 4 times, because I'm gonna keep on supporting it. I'm telling y'all, we have to do the same thing too. Go out there, rewatch that movie once it releases. Jurassic World is going to dominate the box office. I'm telling y'all, that movie is going to dominate it. Yes, I see that the How to Train Your Dragon is making money at the box office. Lilo and Stitch, good for them. That's good. But Jurassic World Come on, this is the seventh film. It's an established IP. People love that. People of all ages, and that's what matters. We have to keep our wallets open towards Jurassic World Rebirth, and our wallets will remain closed and locked for Superflop. The studio knows it. This is why they're trying to come out and fabricate all these lies and all these things. This is what I called a while ago. Remember, my friends, I've been saying this for over 2 years. Once they appointed James Gunn, I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. And I know some people gave me heat for that. They were giving me stuff for it, and they still continue. And it's just they don't know how to cope. They don't know how to accept the reality of what's to come. That big, massive L is coming this way, and they know it. There's no stopping it. There's no stopping us. And completely, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see this, honestly. Because in the end, like Joker said, you get what you freaking deserve, and this is exactly, the after effects of what you caused. It didn't have to go down like this, but the studio allowed this to happen. They brought this upon themselves. And I'm glad. I'm glad, honestly, And this is going to be fun. Like if they're right now doing these stunts, imagine what they're gonna do the week of. Imagine what they're gonna do the week of as we get closer, because this is gonna be interesting. Charles, what up? I see y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hell yeah. Flip flop upside your head. Flippity flop. Yep. They're going straight down to the ground. And we're all here. Grab your popcorn, grab your drink, pull your seat up, whatever you're gonna sit, and let's watch this show go down like fireworks. This is going to be beautiful. And it's crazy because here you have the minority of fans that are, trying to defend this movie and saying this is going to make $1 billion. When they first got announced, they were like, oh, this is going to make $2 billion. And notice how every time we continue to get closer, they lower the numbers more and more. I'm telling you straight up, like, I don't even think opening weekend is going to make the numbers that they're predicting. Look, the Flush, when it opened, I think it opened at after the weekend run, the first what it was, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think it opened at 88 million. It didn't even make 900 million. And that was bad. And then after that, we got, of course, Joker 2. And look how bad that movie tanked. And hey, it is what it is, it's gonna I just can't believe how some people actually think that movie is going to be the one that's going to save this company and save everything that they're doing right now. It's just you can't. It's already done. It's already done, and I can't wait. I really can't wait. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Appreciate that for asking. Wallet's closed July 11. Yes, you already know it. You and your lady gonna be watching Man of Steel. Hell yeah, I'm getting mine's already ready to watch it. I'm gonna rewatch Zack Snyder's Justice League, Batman versus Superman. I'm gonna do a marathon on that stuff. So, yeah, for sure, we're gonna be watching that. And but yeah, this is wild. I'm telling you, look, Marvel and DC are both trying to sidetrack everybody. And look at that. Marvel with Fantastic Four is crushing the box off. I mean, not the box office, the pre-sale tickets. And it's beating Superman. And that's crazy because I think it comes out like in 3 weeks and a half or something from like the time of this recording right now. So Fantastic Four is outperforming ticket sales and actually selling out theaters instead of Superman. And then, of course, before Superman, you already have Jurassic World Rebirth, and fans are talking about it. You have mixed reactions, but the most important part that I hear from fans talking about is that it's going to be a fun movie. And if you're a fan of Jurassic Park in general, this is for you. This is the movie for you. We cannot say the same thing about Superman. We cannot say that because look at how divided the the fandom is, and there's no way to try to like put the fans together. No, the damage is already done. Like I said it for a while ago, and right here what we're seeing, this is incredible. I'm telling y'all, this is just history in the making. History is repeating itself, my friends. It's literally repeating itself. The same thing we saw with the marketing for The Flush and how that ended. Look at how we saw with Joker 2. The same thing. The studio thought that they could bring in Lady Gaga and be like, yo, we're going to make some money because it's Lady Gaga. And what happened? That movie went straight to streaming in less than 30 days. in less than 30 days. You think Super Flop is not going to go straight to streaming in a less time? Yes, it is. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, it's going to. And I'm telling you straight up, this is going to be beautiful to see this, honestly. Strong arm, what up, man? We gotta link up again. We gotta link up. The same thing. Harsh critics, we gotta link up. Hit me up. Let's get something going before the release of this shitty movie. Y'all already know it. I'm telling y'all, it's firing up. This thing is firing up. The grill is already it's fired up. All right, the grill is fired up, and it's funny because I said the grill because of that picture that's been going around today. If you haven't seen it, go look at my feed. Everybody's sharing it, where you have James Gunn wearing the apron trying to promote SuperFlop, and you see, of course, Zack Snyder when he was promoting Rebel Moon with Netflix. It says Papa Snyder. I mean, that's the chef right there. That's the cook right there. Okay, James Gunn is a chef too. He's cooking, but you know what's the difference about that? That you have an actual chef that knows how to cook. The other one is a wannabe chef. He thinks he's a chef, but he's not a chef. And whatever he puts out, the plate that he serves before you, it's one of those plates that are like, oh, this is bland. Did they put this in the microwave? Oh, was this reheated? That's what James Gunn brings you. Zack Snyder, he's using all the seasonings, all the spices. He's using that thick, juicy meat, however you like it, well done, medium well done, however you eat it. And meanwhile, the other one's like you're eating straight up rubber. So that's the difference. And one knows how to cook, but the other one thinks he knows how to cook. And we already know because the quality speaks on its own, just what we're seeing and stuff like that. And that's the beautiful part about that. That's what I love about seeing how these James Gunn fans come out and they try to defend them. But the thing is, they only expose themselves. That's it. And like I said, once this movie tanks, after the movie's done, probably maybe that Monday or Tuesday, I'll do a live and I'll tell you the reason why that movie tanked. And it's not because of what's going on and stuff. There's one big picture, but nobody's talking about that. Nobody has acknowledged it. Maybe you thought about it, but I'll wait until the release of Superflop because I'm not gonna give the studio any ideas on how to repair and fix, you know, anything with what they have. It's already done. The damage is already there. There's no going back and trying to patch it up. Now, another thing too, what I'm telling you is, look, we need to stay united more than ever, and we have to keep our wallets closed and locked. We have to. It's mandatory. And as a review channel, like I said earlier, I'm not gonna go out there and spend my money to go watch it. I'm just not. And that's where I stand at, honestly. And like I said, I'm a man of my word. I'm not gonna go out there and support this movie, and I encourage you to also do the same thing. Because honestly, it's just it's too much. It's too much for this company. They can't handle the heat. That's what it is. They can't handle the heat. The kitchen is hot. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. And that's exactly where this company is at right now. And they know it. They know it. They're seeing us. They're hearing us. They're watching us. They're aware of us. So probably, one of their trolls are probably in here trying to take notes and say, oh, he's probably doing this and saying that. Nah, I'm not giving you any ideas. I'm telling you. And the ideas that I had before on how to fix and do things for, your company, I'm just going to be, you know what? I'm going to use that all towards my comic because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in my stuff, my original IP. And once that's ready, you will see what you could have done if you would have given me an opportunity. But it's time to show these companies how it's supposed to be done. These companies have gotten away from us, the fans, so long. This is not recent. This is long, long time ago. And I'm telling you right now, this is going to be interesting. This is all just going down. This is all part of history. And, like straight up, this is where we are right now. And I can't wait. I cannot wait for July to come already for it to I just can't wait. I just can't wait. Once next week comes up with Jurassic World Rebirth, the week after, oh, we are gonna go harder than ever. And the studio knows it. This is why they're trying to do what they're doing. And they're just trying to silence everyone and they're just trying to, retaliate, and it sucks. But it just shows you where this studio stays at, where they stand at. And I'm telling you right now, this is going to be juicy. This is going to be juicy. Yeah, exactly. Nobody's buying tickets. Nobody is buying tickets right now. And the few people that are, nah, it's not working. Look, they didn't show up, meaning those fans, the minority, didn't show up for anything after Zack Snyder. They just didn't. Let's be real. Y'all didn't show up for anything after Zack Snyder. But you know what's the funny part about everything? That they love to blame Zack Snyder. They love to throw the heat and say, yo, it's because of you Snyder fans. It's because the Snyder community and blah, blah, blah. They always have an excuse. They just can't accept that we are the majority. We are the majority. How come they don't put anything of Zack Snyder on sale and clearance? Because it sells. That's why. You know. Meanwhile, with James Gunn, all of that stuff goes straight up on clearance, and it's not making any money. Honestly, it's that's where they're at right now. This is going to be amazing to see what's going to happen on July 11th. And I'm more convinced now that it's going to tank. Look at that picture that James Gunn posted today. With Ultraman. I'm gonna tell you straight up. You know what that looks like? It reminds me like one of those steampunk characters. All it's missing is that beak. I know there's some character that looks like that. I just can't remember right now from what. But he kind of gives me those vibes of that steampunk type of character. Like he's just missing that mask or something like that. And I'm like, whoa, like you might James Gunn, you might as well just spoil your whole movie. I mean, you might as well just spoil it. Just just release it. Just release it. Just put it out there. Because you guys are not gonna make the money at the box office, and you already know it. You know it that it's not going to. When you have James Gunn coming out saying, "Hey, we don't care about if it makes money or not. I just want to put out my product." So why are you in this industry? Honestly, because if you want to make low budget films, just go out there and do how you were doing that before. Because honestly, that's where it's at. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that he took that pic. Yeah, I saw that. It's crazy. It's really really wild. They post on box office. The movie made 1 billion. Hold on, what's the see saying that it ain't real? Man, anything with James Gunn is a lie, and everything that he posts out there is all a lie. He's buying some out there. Yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yep, yep. We already know with that. Yeah, 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 for sure. Yep, 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 yep. The Superman movie flops. The Snyder fans will come stronger in all force. Oh yeah, we're already together in strong force right now. And look, right now you can clearly see that this movie is going to lose so much money at the box office, and it makes you wonder. If I was the studio, like I've been saying for a while, I would be asking James Gunn, "Hey, we gave you all this money and you promised us this, but you're not delivering. Let's go back." Look, funny that I say that because remember in Iron Man 2 when I forgot the name of the character that builds War Machine, and he told the dude with the what was it, Whiplash, and he was like, "Oh, I wanted you to make like Iron Man suits and stuff like that." And he's like, "What's going on?" The dude with the bird, and he's like, "You're not delivering, my friend. What's going on?" That's the same thing right now. That's straight up James Gunn right there. It's like, yo, with the studio, you're not delivering. You're not going to deliver. Period. Accept it. And it's like some of these fans just can't accept a defeat. They just can't. And it's it's gonna be hilarious on July 11th to see how nobody shows up. You know, where you're gonna have a theater that could fit probably like 100 people. Because there's some theaters like that, and they're probably gonna fill up 30 seats, maybe. You know, like I'm telling y'all. And then James Gunn wants to come out and say that the movie industry is dying off. No, it's not. It's just y'all making shitty films. That's all. If you start doing good films, you will be making movie. I mean, you will be making money. But and it's gonna be proved with right now with Jurassic World Rebirth. And 7 movies. Come on. Like that tells you everything. All right, we only get 3 or 4 movies in Snyder Vision. Which movies do you want? For sure, Zack Snyder Justice League 2 and 3. Ben Affleck's Batman. I would say make that as The Dark Knight Returns. And of course, we need Man of Steel 2. That's for sure. We would need that. And for sure, we need a Cyborg movie because, they did our boy Ray Fisher dirty. So he needs his standalone film. We need a proper Flash film. And, we need Wonder Woman 3 to wrap up that, and let Zach cook, let him do his thing. That's how I see it. That's exactly what the studio needs to do. They just need to let Zach cook, do his thing, like Netflix has let Zack Snyder do his thing with Rebel Moon. And I get it. Some of y'all are gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't like Rebel Moon." Well, if you didn't like the PG-13 and you didn't like the R, then you're just not a fan of any. You're just a critic, honestly. And critics are impossible to please. Seriously, there's food critics out there that you could serve them the best dish. Like Ramsey could serve them the dish, and they'll still find something to complain about. That's not a authentic type of person. That's a critic. A critic, that's what they do. They criticize everything. Oh, but this and but that. Yo, I'll be like, yo, it's not perfect, but it's still delicious. You get what I'm saying? So some people just don't see it like that, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, the domain and stuff like that. Who knows what's gonna happen with that? I mean, when you think about it, Superman's just a generic name. Anybody could be a Superman. Like, does it have to be exclusive to WB with DC? It's like, come on, man. Like, it is what it is. But again, what can we do? Not buying a movie telling this is a banger. Learn from Shazam. Yeah, well, with Shazam we saw. Oh, that's gonna be interesting, honestly. Um, all right, I see y'all talking and stuff like that. All right. Let's see. All right, going down. I'm trying to catch up with the comments, but damn, y'all going fast. That's good. That's good though. All right, cool. Yeah, I see. All right, yeah, we're Rebel Moon. I see y'all having a conversation. All this stuff. Yeah. Cool. All right, yeah. Snyderverse. All right, so this one's interesting. If Superman fails, any realistic chance Snyderverse returns? Yeah, for sure. That's the backup plan. Let's not forget when David Zaslav came on board, he was like, there was a rumor going around, and most of these rumors, you got to remember, they have happened. Remember there was rumors before David Cornsweet ever came on board, and like in 2018, sometime in 2018, before 2019, they were already planning on recasting Henry Cavill. Because remember, of course, with Walter Hamada and stuff like that. So what was the name floating around? David Cornsweet. And who do we have now? David Cornsweet. So that's what I'm telling you. Like, the studio is shady like that. But this whole shadiness of them has caught up. Now, are they going to stop making movies in general? No, because they have to put out movies because that's where they make a lot of money. If it wasn't a profitable business, they wouldn't be making money. I mean, they wouldn't be making movies. And that's what you're seeing with all these industries, with all these films that they're putting out. And when you have bad movies like 28 years later, because let's be real, that's straight up a cash grab. They lied to everybody. That has nothing to do with what it was before. And a lot of people are starting to see that, and they're like, "Yo, this has nothing to do with it." Fans are finally waking up. That's all. People are waking up. The consumer is tired of the nonsense that they're putting out there, and it is what it is. Like, look, I'm gonna tell you straight up: don't sleep on this new movie that's coming out now from the Toxic Avenger. And I know some of y'all might be like, "Oh, that looks cheesy. That looks corny." But if you go back and watch these movies from back in the 90s, they're actually keeping that tone and they're staying real to what it was in the 90s. It's just a more modern take and stuff like that. I'm actually looking forward to that movie. Like, I'm actually, I like it's got my interest. It looks just like it was in the 90s, and I like that. You see what I'm saying? Now, when you have movies that they just completely water it down and they just sell you a lie, I mean, are you really gonna look forward to the next one? Not really. And that's what's going on right now. This is what the studio has been doing. They've been toying around with us far too long, and everything has a consequence, and the consequence is that we're keeping our wallets closed. That's it. That's at the end. That's the whole thing. This is why the studio is trying to come after certain pages and probably certain channels, because that's what they want to do. They're trying to silence us. They're trying to be like, shh, you can't talk about that. You can't say this, because shame on you. You're the customer, you're the consumer, and you're gonna eat what we give you. You're gonna keep on giving us money, but you're gonna eat what we give you forcefully. No, none of us are gonna do that. And then the minority of fans that are eating it up and gobbling it up, like, oh yeah, let me get more. I want more, serve me more. Oh, you giving me Shazam too? How about you throw in how about you throw in the mix? Peacemaker, And then look at the nonsense that we're getting. Oh, you want Peacemaker? Here's another slice. How about you eat creature commandos? Blah, blah, blah. They're gobbling it up. And what's going on? They're tanking. They're not making money. But yet they're like, oh, we're winning, we're succeeding. Oh, we're yo, it's crazy, you know? It really is. And then the numbers don't lie. That's what I'm telling y'all. It doesn't lie. There's no way that you can lie and try to say otherwise, you know? And it's like, come on, you seriously going to do that? I mean, what can we do, you know? And it is what it is, though. You know, this is just gonna be interesting. You know, it's gonna be interesting, and this is all part of a history that we're all taking part of. You know, we all came together and united. We got the Snyder Cut. I don't want to hear no excuses. The point is, we have it. However, it happened. It happened. We did our part. If you use the hashtag of release the Snyder Cut back then, you're part of history, my friends. You are part of history. And if you're right now fighting and still using restore the Snyderverse, we're also part of history because tables are about to change and they're going to do a 360 very soon. And the studio knows it. The studio knows it. This is why they're doing what they're doing. They're desperate. They're literally up to the corner, you know, like the sword and you're up against the wall. That's exactly how they are. They don't know what else to do. For far too long, they've been throwing poop at the fan and it's smeared and it's splattered everywhere. It's a mess. It's a complete mess. And this right here is the final nail in the coffin. And like I told you, look, they're just trying to cram everything into one film. And if it works, it works. They're desperate. They're desperate. Everything is getting crammed into this film. And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. You're going to see more people from Guardians of the Galaxy make cameos and appear in this movie. What do you think, that you're not gonna see Chris Pratt in this movie? Of course you are. You think you're not gonna see the dude that did the voice of Rocket Raccoon? Of course you are. You think you're not gonna see the lady that did what's her name? I think Zoe or whatever, the one that did the voice for, I mean, the one that did Gamora. You think you're not gonna see him? James Gunn has actually said it, that he wants to bring him on board. So what do you think? That's not gonna be seen? And at the end credit scene, you don't think they're all gonna appear? Come on. Don't come here and try to fool me and tell me otherwise. I see it. What do you think, that he's not going to introduce and tease his Batman Brave and the Bold? Of course he is, because that's what James Gunn does. All he does is what he wants, and he's having fun in his playground. But like I said, yeah, Zoe Saldana Zoe Saldana, whatever you call her. Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. He's gonna bring in all of his friends, quote unquote friends, you know, because you know, you could be my friend if you get a paycheck. You see what I did there? But yeah, that's what we're gonna see for sure, for sure. You know, James Gunn is lying to the Matt Reeves fans, saying that, you know, like, oh, he doesn't owe you anything and this and that. Hold on, we're the customer, we're the consumer, and most of all, we're the ones that are buying. So what do you mean he don't owe us nothing? Damn it, we're the one paying. We want that, and that's exactly what we have to fight for. You know, for the ones that want that movie. I don't think it's going to happen, honestly. And if it does happen, like I've been just saying, you know, speculating, if Comcast down the road does acquire HBO Max with the DC IP, just that, or probably becomes the parent company of WB, they can restore it. They can do so much with their streaming service. The possibilities are endless. And again, I won't give them ideas because I'm just not gonna give them ideas. But there's so much that they could do. But they're not milking their own streaming service. See what I'm saying? That's what Netflix is doing. On the other hand, not even Disney is on the level of Netflix, and that tells you a lot. That tells you a lot. It's crazy, you know, and it's just, that is insane, completely. You know, while we're talking, let me see if I can pull up the stocks for Netflix real quick, because that is it's very interesting, huh? It's interesting that it's not appearing, but I could see the one for WB. WB closed at $10.90. Oh, sometimes I tell you, you know, when it's convenient, they'll show you certain things, and then they try to go ahead and try to hide other things that are not. Oh, look at that! Netflix today closed at $1,279.11. That's insane. That is nuts. 1.2 thousand a share. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And let's go back and look at the post that I posted not long ago, also a few months ago, when Blockbuster could have bought Netflix years ago, and they turned them down. And look at where Blockbuster's at right now. Gone. I think there's only one or two left in the whole world. I think it's one in Alaska and the other one, I don't know where the other one's at. And they could have been capitalizing, but no, no, they didn't see the potential in it. And the same way that WB and Disney didn't see potential in Zack Snyder with Rebel Moon, who's banking? Who's making money? Who's getting subscribers, paid subscribers on their content, on their streaming platform? Netflix. And look at their shares, 1,000, over $1,000 a share. Meanwhile, WB is way down to the ground. Disney's down there, and Disney is not the monster that it used to be. It's just not, you know. So of course they're gonna try to team up and try to come after and say, "Hey, we have to stop this." You can't stop it. Like freaking Cyborg said, the bill has, it can't be unrung. You just can't, That's what I'm telling you. This is all just repeating again. This is crazy. Like, I'm truly excited to still be around and see what's going on. I'm excited and I'm like blessed to be here with each and every one of you, that we're still here fighting united all these years after, because we believe in something and we know we're going to get it. Like Batman told Alfred, faith, Alfred, faith. That's all we need to have. With faith, anything is possible. And that's what these James Gunn cultists don't have. They don't have faith. They don't have faith and they don't believe in their own brand. They know that it's done. This is why it is where it is. And we called it. We knew that this was coming. And it's going to get, as we continue to get more and more closer, it's just going to show you where the fan service is at. And that's telling you a lot. Fans are tired. They really are. And I can't wait. And if the Snyder Cut drops on Netflix, it's over. Yeah, that would be interesting, honestly. But nah, they're not gonna do it. They got Justice League on there, and then now Justice League is on Tubi. Well, it was. I don't know if it still is. But yeah, this is gonna be interesting. So I'm telling y'all, this is very, very. We're living in some interesting times, especially in the timeline that we are right now. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that this is what was going to happen after, Zack Snyder wouldn't be at the studio anymore. It tells you everything. This completely tells you everything. And some people are like, "Oh, well, Zack is not doing anything. He's very busy right now. Zack is right now. I think he's already working on the thing with the UFC movie and stuff that he's working on. Whatever it is, good. Take your time. Do what you got to do. We already know that that's gonna make them money. And those people from Dubai or whatever it is, they got money. Though, like they got money. See what I'm saying? So it's like, why would they invest in Zack Snyder just for the hell of it? That's the UFC brand we're talking about. That they bought out Vince McMahon's WWE. That's how much money they have, and that tells you a lot. Like, these people have money. See what I'm saying? So it's like, they didn't believe in Zack. Why would they hire Zack? Again, cope. Accept the fact Zack is the blueprint. People want him in this industry, but like, and then now, of course, recently WB was like, "Yo, can you come back and do the 300 prequel, because we want money too." Oh, now you want money. And just with that, oh, you better believe that the Snyderverse is attached, and it's behind the closed doors. We just can't know about that yet, but in due time we're gonna find out. It took us 5 years to get the Snyder Cut, my friends. 5 long years. Add that up. 360 times 5 years. That's how long we waited until we got it in March 2021. It made amazing. And again, this is where we are right now. This is the timeline. And I just can't wait. Honestly, this is gonna be dope. This is going to be insane. Like, it's just nice. It's just nice. I can't wait. And let me see how good. Oh yeah, I agree with you on that one. How bad SuperFlop is will reveal how good Man of Steel was. Exactly. Here we are. What, 10? No, we're like 11 or 12 years after Man of Steel, and we're still talking about it like if it was yesterday. We're still talking about it like it got released 2 days. I mean, 2 years ago. That's nuts. See what I'm saying? Like, you don't see anything with James Gunn like that. Nobody be talking about, "Oh, remember that movie that he did back in the 90s?" Nobody cares. Nobody even remembers. And it's like, this is gonna be insane. Honestly, do you remember where you were when you watched your first Snyder movie? My first Snyder movie that I saw I want to say I can't remember right now, but I think which one came out first. I think it was Dawn of the Dead or was it Sucker Punch? One of those two. I know that I saw him in the theater, and I went with my friend, and we were like, "Yo, this movie was good." We were like, "Yo, this was just something different." You see what I'm saying? And of course, when I saw Dawn of the Dead, I was like, "Yo, like this is the zombie movie that I want more of." And it's a shame that we didn't get part two to it. And if you're familiar with the Dawn of the Dead from George Romero, that's my favorite all-time director when it comes to zombies. Like what he did with Day of the Dead, the part two, that one's even much more. I love that movie even more than the first one, Dawn of the Dead. And the remake with Zach did, awesome. I freaking love that movie. And what they were setting up for part two, and it didn't happen. Of course, the studio and stuff. So it is what it is. But I remember seeing that in theaters. I was like, wow, like this is pretty good. Like it was that good. And I still remember the theater where I was at and all that stuff. And that same theater is where I'm actually gonna go and watch Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm not gonna say where at because, like I said, I like to blend in the crowd. You feel me? That's why I like to be low key. You see what I'm saying? Like that's just me. I like to be in the cut, in the shadow. Just it's not about me. I don't care about that. I just want to be out there because you never know. Maybe I might be next to you somewhere around. You might never know. I could just be right there standing by you, and you won't know it. And I like that. I like that privacy. See what I'm saying? It's just that chill kind of vibe and stuff like that. Yeah. All right, for you, 300 Sucker Punch, the TV Watchmen in theaters. Yeah, it's good stuff, good stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like he puts out good things, and that's all I care about, honestly. You know. Oh yeah, James Gunn reaction when Superman flops. Oh, for sure, they're gonna be playing the blame game. Like I said, once that movie tanks, they're going to be playing the blame game. They're gonna be like, oh, the studio against the executives, and everybody's gonna be going back and forth. You're gonna see. That's pretty obvious that we're gonna be seeing that's gonna happen and stuff like that. But it is what it is. I can't wait. This is interesting. This is fun. And again, we have to stay united. Keep using the hashtag Restore the Snyderverse more than ever. Now is our time because we have to go full throttle until the day it releases. And even after it releases, we will keep on using it because in due time, we will not be using Restore the Snyderverse. In due time, we're going to be using the hashtag Restored. I'm telling you, it's going to happen, my friends. I am more convinced now more than ever after seeing everything that's coming out and they're posting and how these ticket sales for SuperFlop are not moving. That should motivate you more, my friends. It's just letting you know what's around the corner. But yeah, this is all the time that I have for now. I wanted to do a quick, chat about this stuff and things like that. So I'm gonna end it right now. Thanks for watching, for tuning in, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.